Hello and welcome everybody to episode number 2 of Behind the Build. I'm Callum Colton, today's podcast host, and joining me I have Rob Edwards, Strategy Director here at Envisage.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yep.
Rob's got over, 25 years industry experience and considered or estimated to have over 1,000 stand builds under the belt as well. So a vast expertise and knowledge in the industry.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
Bit trepidatious, but excited too. Yeah, of course,
definitely. We've got an interesting topic to sort of look into today. We're going to sort of discuss the ideas behind exhibition costs and why they're not just a cost, but they're in fact an investment.
Yeah.
So sort of just getting to the crux of why that might be and how they sort of work, so forth.
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of myths and sort of stories around attending exhibition stands, and sure, for a lot of people it's a massive expense. I think for over half of the people that attend exhibitions, they'll only attend one exhibition a year, so it's a huge part of the marketing budget and a massive consideration. So whilst there's a lot of pressure builds up behind that, it's the most direct way of getting to your customer.
Yes. Obviously, it is very targeted. Do you think in terms of the cost that they're just seeing it as stuff that's just at the show and not sort of the longevity of the implications moving on from that?
I think traditionally, yes. Marketing people within a business will see that purely as a cost, and more so the financial people will see that as a cost. So, but there's so much more, and it's a bit of a paradox, really. I think pre-digital era, that was certainly the case, and then as the internet came into play and people were almost forecasting the death of exhibitions, I think they're probably more relevant and more alive than they've ever been.
Yeah, I think that sort of would be my next point, like how relevant trade shows are in today's age and why they're still relevant.
Yeah, and that I was just going to get around to saying that I think the reason is because rather than just being a 3-day or 4-day event, that is now the opportunity is that for that to become a 6-month or 12-month marketing opportunity. So it's so important to give that whole piece the consideration that it deserves, really.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying, you have to look at it in a broader aspect than just the event itself. And I think, there's a lot of times as well, maybe, do you think, where possibly people don't dive into what it does produce for them and what numbers and statistics, and like they only see it as a visual, whether it was actually doing what they wanted or whether it wasn't, as opposed to like actually breaking it down in numbers.
It's very difficult to get that ROI because it's not a granular sort of process in trying to get those numbers. So I think that turns a lot of people off, and which is a shame because there's so much more to it. So in terms of being able to engage with your community, you can do that way in advance of the event. Yeah. It's a good way of getting your team on board, getting the sales force to appreciate the opportunities that are there for them, to engage with the customer and potential customers, inviting people along in different ways through the socials and through their email. So different campaigns can draw people and invite people and create some excitement and some expectation, really.
Yeah, I think it just adds something a little bit different to the marketing mix within those companies that are probably doing stuff all year round, and then it just, I don't know, especially with like product launches and new like brand images and stuff, it's a massive player in those markets because you're going straight to the people that you want to talk to, really.
Yeah, and I think if the marketing departments give proper credence to the event and value their own staff in the way that they should, in bringing them on board, it invigorates the whole sales picture.
Yeah.
So that they're not just arriving on on the site and going, "Oh, this is a nice stand." I mean, they should know what the stand looks like.
Mm-hmm.
They should know and appreciate the opportunities, and that they can increase their take from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it isn't a case of just another exhibition stand, but it's I've got so and so coming to see me.
Yeah,
all the excitement around that.
And again, it's within the longevity, right? So it's not just, I tried to close these deals while we were there. It's you've made those contacts, you've made those meetings, you've done those things.
Absolutely.
And it still might take 3 to 4 months, 6 months, whatever down the line, but you can almost trail that back, and you know that because you put that effort in here. Yeah, it's still playing out sort of long term.
Yeah, and then the whole follow up piece, and it's important to follow up quickly afterwards, and then that can trail on for another 3 or 4 months afterwards. So as you say, you don't get an immediate result from that.
I think, like you were just saying, it's difficult with the ROIs to sort of quantify those things. Sort of the way technology is moving on, and the way that there is better ways to do that now maybe than before. So you're able to like quantify leads, and you're able to do stuff like that. Then there's all sort of technology like Standalytics, where you can sort of understand how your stand's performing and get statistics and sort of prove its worth in that sense. Yeah,
but I think going back to where we started, where the digital era seemed to be taking off and taking over from this kind of activity, there's such a swing back now to where like 80% of people that are actually attending are people who are positively engaged, because people can't afford to send people out to these events so much. It's not a freebie anymore.
Oh, no, so
you've got to take the people who really count. So it's the buyers, and it's the people that are properly engaged with the event that are attending.
That's important. It's like that's one of the key things that the shows do give you, that targeted audience. You're only making effort to people that are interested in your line of work or your product specifically.
And there's no better way of getting face to face.
Definitely not.
And also to show your latest product, whatever that launch is or whatever, it's new and fresh. Yeah. So when you can really play this to your own advantage. So hold launches back, hold press releases back. Yeah. I've seen this so much in the media, where on national television there'll be a statistic that's given out, say around diabetes or something like that. They'll say the latest figures around diabetes in youngsters or whatever, and they'll give a national average. Yeah. But that'll be done whilst the Diabetes UK is actually taking place. So everybody's ears are sticking up. The whole community is listening and looking for that.
I think
at that time.
That just highlights the importance to understand the exhibition stand within the whole marketing concept, and not just it's just an exhibition stand. Yeah. It's part of everything else. It needs to be integrated and work seamlessly, really.
Definitely.
So obviously, like you said, you've got those sort of like face-to-face interactions, and for the most part, they offer a much more longer-lasting sort of relationship as well. You can create those impressions, and you can really sell your brand on like a human level.
Yeah, you're developing relationships, and then the conversion of those relationships. So I think there's a statistic that 3 times more likely to be able to convert them than from cold or on the phone or
just an ad somewhere or Well, definitely, because you've had the chance to speak, sort of sell it yourself. You know your product better than anyone else. So
and one of the other key things I think about reinvigorating your own sales staff is you taking them with expectation into and mixing with their own community to see what's new, what's fresh, what's happening, to learn about competitors, to mingle with those people and to learn.
Yes, it offers that opportunity for you to just network generally as well within the market, and understand. Maybe sometimes it's to see what others might be doing slightly better, and you can take that away. And
it's invaluable, really.
Yeah, it can motivate staff more than anything, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, and a chance to network within that environment with the other stands as well.
Yeah. So obviously that's briefly we've sort of touched on live show, and a lot of that's like live show focused.
Yeah.
what do you think sort of the major things are that people should see and should realise moving past the show? So obviously we spoke a bit about like how leads can continue and then you get them, but like other ways that it benefits you long term.
Well, you talk about leads and data captures, and I mean, is one of the key aspects of attending. Sales staff are notoriously on the hunt, and we'll just go from one to the next conversation, and it's important to take those breaks to record the information from a conversation, whichever way you do it, and there are different ways. You can do it live on iPad, you can do it through questionnaires and different things, or down to a simple notepad. But gathering that data,
just
collecting it, and with the relevant, what are they interested in and why are they interested in it, so you can continue that relationship following on.
Yeah. So then when it pushes into the subsequent weeks, months afterwards, it's important then to break that down again and understand and have a clear idea of the conversation you did have a month ago, and not just be like, oh, I should just talk to this person.
It was good to see you.
Yeah, that conversation, I guess
that's really key.
Yeah, it's very important, isn't it? Because otherwise you're going back into a conversation as if
just phoning somebody up again.
You didn't have the conversation if you don't remember. So those personal traits and those personalities to each conversation are very important. So obviously, moving on, then you start to build those relationships even more. I guess it's at that point, then again, it's important to consider where you might want to go next, so you can continue to build that growth and continue to bring those meetings and networkings together.
Definitely, and I think that's where the digital aspect of marketing, the digital age, really works well now, because we can, from the information and the data, you've and particularly GDPR, you've got now an authorized database, people who you clear to go forward with, and then tell them about your latest products, what's new, keep them on your news feed, all of that kind of stuff. You should start to build a more meaningful database with people that you've got a relationship with.
Again, I know it's harping on the same thing, but it's back to that targeted audience. Everyone in there should be exactly who you want to be speaking to, not just sort of riff-raff, which you can easily get just by having a subscribe box on your website, for instance. Not everyone that comes through there is going to be ended up being one of those leads that you really want in that collection.
And I think this is where you at the front end, it would appear to be quite an expensive exercise, but the rewards are tenfold over what would appear to be quite a cheaper exercise to do digital marketing. But the numbers and the that you have to do to get that same result.
I think everything has its positives, and everything does work to some degree, but not everything works for everyone.
No.
But then in the same sense, it's important to have those human aspects in sales a lot, because that sometimes is lost throughout digital and so forth. Whereas
I think exhibitions aren't for everybody. That's the first thing to recognise is why are you going? And what's the purpose of you being there? And how are you going to achieve an ROI? Because if you can't identify that at the start, then
you can't see what you've gained. There will never be an understanding if it's just more than a cost. Because, but in a nutshell, that's the fundamentals of sort of the main aspects of it, really. So, any closing thoughts that you might have?
Yeah, I guess a lot of what we've talked about seems like common sense. But it's so often when we meet with people who say they want to go to a show,
I guess
a lot of that isn't being played out.
I guess common sense for you when we've got 1,000 exhibitions under the belt. It's it does seem like common sense. It's second nature at that point.
Yeah, but we're always learning.
Yeah, always learning, but obviously bringing this wealth of expertise and this understanding, we're able to give that expert advice and sort of push in the right direction and understand what it is they need to be doing.
And it is always a collaboration. So we're trying to understand what good looks like at the front end, how are they going to be able to measure whether they've been successful or cost effective? That is really at the nub of that first conversation. So why are you going? How are we going to make this look good?
Yeah.
And how are we going to report that back into the business afterwards, 12 months later? If you want to go again, what's going to secure that and make sure you're able to go again?
Because that just showcases its worth. Because I mean, just within the title of what we're talking about, it being a cost and not it being an investment and not a cost.
Definitely.
The cost would imply that it's just dead money.
Yeah.
Whereas an investment means that you're going to get something back from it, and that's what that data and that understanding and information will showcase.
Yeah, to get so many people in the blue chip event of the year for your industry in one room for 3 days, to get around that many people in a car to go and see, I don't know, 50 contacts, say, would cost thousands and thousands and thousands.
Yeah, a lot more.
And the time,
and a lot more time
on the road, just it doesn't make sense, really.
It's months worth of work, probably.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
And then by the time you come full circle and you've spoke to the first one, you speak to the first one again, it's months later. It's like, it's just not, possible, is it?
No, it isn't.
But no, fantastic. Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure to have you on today. That's all for today's episode of Behind the Build. I'd like to thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob, for coming again.
Thank you.
If you just like the video, comment down below if you've got any other questions about sort of the topics that we've been discussing. We'd be happy to sort of get back in touch.
Yeah, definitely.
And all our socials are linked in the description as well. So head down there, follow us, check us out, keep up to date with everything that we're doing here. We get up to quite a lot. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.